do we got next?
Really good match, honestly.
Redzone.
Redzone.
The first Northern California filmed Redzone game of the day, and I gotta say, this is the matchup that I've been waiting for since the since the schedule got posted. So Freight Train Pacific, a couple of jerks on that team though, like Ian. He's a real meanie. No, he's a real bully. We love him though. And then Gray Area on the right. So Gray Area killed it their first game against the Rejects today. And as they've got one player who knew the layout or knew the format, and then the rest of them are just kind of getting used to it. They're used to 5-man. So Ryan Podesta for Gray Matter was pulling everything together, making sure that his boys were ready, and they won their first game very dominantly. So it'll be really interesting to see these two really good teams. Like Freight Train, they've got a lot of experience playing this format. I mean, Ian and his boys have been playing this for just ever and a day.
At least 3 years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so again, another big shout out to our sponsors, Air Ups, with these awesome markers, and I can't say enough good things about that modular 50 that we've been using. The player feedback from that has just been great. It's different every event.
Yeah, you can change it
able
up.
to make a more dynamic, like a more dynamic layout every time.
Yep.
It's really exciting.
The layout generator person gets to get a little creative,
Oh yeah,
makes it a little more
especially.
fun, like
Yeah.
it's not so static and the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're all about. We try to change things up as much as possible, and
Have
especially
fun.
we're playing 2 formats, so the layout's got to be, we've got to have dynamic layouts here so it doesn't just get stagnant, like you said. Plus, it's got to work for both formats. You got to have something that's going to work well for 5-man. You got to have something that's going to work well with the buzzer in the center of the field. So for those of you guys who have not watched Redzone before, you are in for a treat. So you notice, I wonder if I can get a camera on that buzzer in the center of the field. Yeah, so you guys will see what I'm talking about in a couple minutes here. We've got a buzzer right in the center of the field. Now, the object of the game is called Redzone. So if a player from any team gets up to that point and hits the buzzer alive, that team is awarded 2 points. Now when that happens, like let's say you have a body that dies off the break and they're in the dead box, as soon as your player gets in and hits the red zone, then your players that are dead can come back to life onto the field. So if you've got teams that are going back and forth scoring points, you'll get points that go on longer as more players are coming back onto the field.
It's essentially really exciting when you get to watch players.
Oh yeah, it's just a
respawn.
race to the 50, man.
Yep.
People just getting chopped up, but it's always really fun. 10 seconds to start of the match. Now, again, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, the other way to score a point is if you make the other team concede, then you get 1 point. So let's see who wants it more as Freight Train 3 guns up, working on towards the snake side.
Freight Train loses their snake side player, unfortunately.
Gray Matter keeping their big gun, Ryan, out in the back center here. Now he's going to see if they can open something up and send his body up into the center. All right, he's going to go ahead and send him right now, see if they can get on the board. But Ian not going to let them get that 2 points as the Gray Area going up 1-0.
With Redzone, the coach's role is incredibly important because he's essentially going to manage how many points the other team's
you win or
gonna be
lose
able
based
to.
on the coaching, absolutely.
Yeah. So if you plan on playing Redzone, make sure you get a good coach.
Yeah, at least someone who's played before. Or who knows, maybe sometimes Ian is your coach and he'll get too busy yelling at the refs and then you have to shoot him. We've definitely never had to shoot Ian, our coach, for yelling at refs and not getting points.
I'm sure you're not talking about me.
No, it was never you and I shooting at Ian.
I've never shot Ian, ever.
Especially not while he was trying to be our coach. I will never forget that.
Yeah.
I won't. I will never forget that. That was just too much fun.
You're like, concede.
Yeah, but that just goes points. The players aren't the ones that dictate the end of the game. The coach has got to concede, or they can keep racking up points.
Yeah, it's probably honestly the most important role on the field.
All right, Freight Train making another move up, nice out into Dorito 2, and then sending a body into the center tower here. So Michaela throwing a penalty, which is not going to work well for Gray Matter, as it looks like Gray Matter was forced to concede that point, so I believe that we are tied. All right, so I believe it's going to be Gray Area versus Freight Train Pacific 1-1, as we had a couple of shots come through the or break on the netting here. I've probably got a little bit of something on my face. Oh, yeah.
Rejects, Norcal factory.
You know, if you want that tanning oil, you just save probably about like $5 right there.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, see, I'm just gonna rub the lotion on the skin.
Rub that in.
It rubs the lotion on the skin. There we go. So 30 seconds left to the start of the next lineup here. Again, gray area breaking out on the right with Freight Train Pacific on the left side.
I'm telling you guys, if you have not played Redzone, I know you've probably heard about it by now because it has been around and I've shared the living shit out of it. And
it's fun.
So is everybody else. And you have to play this format.
It's the most fun that I've had playing paintball.
It's fun. It is pure fun. Adrenaline rush, nonstop.
Okay, so Gray Matter showing bodies going up into the center of the field. It looks like he was not able to make that initial move, though.
See, they've been going to that spot every point, and Freight Train picked up on that.
No, they lost Ryan out of the back as well, so there's only one body left. So Gray Matter Gray Area forced to concede that point as well. So now Freight Train is going up 2-1. So far, no buzzer hits.
Yeah, but Freight Train is doing a great job of analyzing where the other team's going, where their aggressive players are going, and just... You know, that's 2 points in a row that they've been able to capitalize on a G off the break. And if you blow out that snake side in Redzone, you literally just have to put enough pressure on back center to start flowing your players out to the buzzer. And the game's yours at that point.
It's all rhythm. If they find a rhythm for this format, then it's it's really easy to get up on points once you get that tempo going, once everybody's working together, you're a little more cohesive.
Absolutely.
So, huge shout out to APX Paint as they brought up not only the paint, but they also hauled the bunkers for us.
Thank you.
So, big shout out to those guys. I've actually heard really good things about the paint today. It looks like it's shooting really well. So, that's, a very key component to any event going off without a hitch is having good quality paint. So
Gray Area is going to have to figure out how to keep 3 guys alive. Oh, man, they really like that.
Great move up the middle, though. I like how he got low to get into that center Aztec, like you were saying. Now, Ryan Podesta getting up into the center of the field, shaking things up a little bit. He usually stays back in the center, but he's going to be in an interesting gun battle with the player in the 50. Looks like they're going to match each other at the 50.
He's got shot on the shoulder.
He was able to dig him out. So Ryan not being able to stay alive in that 50, but this is going to open the door now for Freight Train to get up into that buzzer. Let's see if he can make it happen.
The trick right here is they need to keep 2 of the players alive so that they could go up 2 points.
Yeah, so if you have 2 players left alive, you cannot concede. But if you've only got 1 player, then you can concede. So that's what happens is as soon as they've got 1 player left alive, the coach is waiting, okay, as soon as these guys start running, I'm going to wait till they use up their energy and then concede before they get to the buzzer. So the coaching really is important to make sure that your team is successful. So Freight Train up 3-1 against Gray Area, but Gray Area, they play a lot of paintball. I would not be surprised if they were able to come back and tie it up or get the lead right here.
If I was Gray Area right now, I'd definitely try to send an aggressive Dorito player and try to
Yeah, well, they did that on their...
Go where they're not expecting you.
Yeah, well, on the second point, they were able to get a body out into Dorito, too. So, I don't think that paid off for them, though.
No, you definitely have to maintain the other bodies on the other part of the field in order for the Dorito side to capitalize. But, the Dorito side, not so much attention is paid to those
So, a little bit of a coaching staff change here as Ian has clocked in. He wants to do a little bit of damage. Maybe he saw something from the sidelines. Wants to get some work done. Interesting choice that they stayed so long in the back of the field. There's only 30 seconds left in the game here. So Freight Train losing a body, heading into the dead box, taking an interesting fill out to the Dorito side.
Off the break and the 50. Oh, man.
Okay, here comes the buzzer. Oh, the coach wasn't paying attention, and they let Gray Area get the buzzer. So we are tied up now. Oh, no.
They got the point.
Did they concede?
They concede after the buzzer.
Oh, they conceded as well. So they got 3 points for Gray Area. So Gray Area is now up by 1 point. And that was that. Like I said, that was a coaching error. They only had 1 body left alive. If he had blown the buzzer,
it's almost
they wouldn't have gotten it. Yeah, so as soon as that coach looked away, he sent their player to get the red zone.
As a coach, you have to, stay constantly aware of how many bodies you have, but you have to be paying most attention to what the other team is doing.
So that's what I'm saying, man. Is you guys following along at home here? This format, it's so easy to go down by 2 points to up by 1. It literally happened in the last 3 seconds.
Comebacks can happen literally in 15, 20 seconds.
Yeah, it's like paintball is a very technical sport to begin with, but as soon as you start adding these different elements, this is chess on crack, essentially. So we only got 10 seconds left in the match.
Literally chest on
crack. That Freight Train is going to be running to the center of the field. They've got a runner signing up right now. Yeah, they sent him without a gun. Is he going to be able to make it in time? No, he was not able to get up there.
1 minute.
Oh.
Hey, penalty! What the hell? Hey, come on.
All right, so that looks like it's going to be the end of the match here. As gray area, I think they're going to take it 4-2 or 4-3, as Freight Train Pacific was not able to get to the buzzer in time there. But I like starting that guy without a gun, getting a little bit of extra speed, trying to get in. I would have taken a little bit of a different route. He had a little bit more time. But, you got to do what you got to do. So that's the time there. And congratulations to Gray Area coming back in the last few seconds to put a stop to the Freight Train.